Hello, good people. How you doing out there today? Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's well and healthy. I got a good stack of LPs and a pretty healthy stack of 45's I want to show you guys. This first record, I really can't wait to show you guys. I'm still excited I have this. So let's just get into this mad, alright? First record up is from the church, Starfish. This is a remaster of the album, the classic album from 1988, on 2 LPs. It is a 100% analog mastering from the original masters. It is approved by the artists, which would be Stephen Kilby. And there's his signature there. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, so yeah, the lead singer and bass player of the band. And I just spun this because I just got this today. I spun the whole thing. This remaster sounds so good, and it's a little late. The company that presses this is called Intervention Records. And originally this was supposed to come out in summertime. I think around June, July it was supposed to come out. And they had delay after delay after delay. And I just got it today. And today being the 7th of October. So it's a good 3 to 4 months late. But, you know, hey, good things come to those who wait. And my God, this is a awesome remastering of an album I love very, very much. I love the work they did on the cover. It may be hard to see on here, but it has a real high gloss finish to it, and the work they did on this cover looks really nice, and the gatefold looks particularly nice. And it's a classic 80s album for the song Under the Milky Way, which sounds like a dream on this remaster. There's the label there. And so does the song Reptile. But the whole record sounds beautiful, beautifully remastered. My favorite song on this entire record is the very last track on the album, or the official album, which was Hotel Womb. You know, I have a used vinyl pressing of it that I love very much and sounds great, but this blows it out of the water. Oh my God, you hear everything so clearly. The low end, the mids, the highs, the guitars, the vocals, the drums and cymbals. Everything sounds fantastic, but you hear the little subtle things in the background. A little bit of keyboard, a little bit of piano, some tambourine, and miscellaneous percussion. The vocal effects, the reverb on the lead singer's voice, you can really hear a lot more clearly, and it really gives a dramatic sound to the vocals. This is a great remaster, So it can, of course, it contains the whole record, plus 2 acoustic versions of the songs Under the Milky Way and Antenna. And both those songs sound so beautiful acoustic. So some great acoustic performance of those 2 songs. Side 4 is 6 extra tracks, bonus tracks, songs that didn't make this recording originally back in '88. Songs that are called Frozen and Distant, Texas Moon, Anna Miranda, Afterlife, We Both Know Why You're Here, and Perfect Child. And even the bonus tracks sound pretty damn cool. I kind of braced myself, like, all right, here comes a side of music I've never heard before, and these are songs that didn't make the record. Hopefully it doesn't bore me or anything like that. And they were really cool songs that just suck you right in. This is a fantastic remaster. It has always been one of my favorite albums, period. Definitely one of my favorite albums from the church. And this remaster is so so good. I mean, yeah, I had to wait a long time for this. I had to wait an extra 3-4 months just to receive it. It's on 180 gram vinyl, ultra quiet pressing, bonus tracks, 2 LP expanded edition. Like I said, 100% analog mastering from the original mastered tapes. So a fantastic remastered recording of a great album. So I feel very lucky to have this in the collection. It's going to get a lot of spins. I'm in a trance every time I listen to this entire album, and this remastered collection is so good. So The Church, Starfish, remastered on vinyl, just 2-record set, superb. Okay, another favorite artist of mine is Night Jewel, and she put out a brand new album called No Sun. Very cool album. Songs based on her recent divorce. So a lot of the lyrics and the mood of the tone of the songs, there's a feeling of a lot of space, a lot of isolation, a lot of loneliness, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of sad feelings, but some very interesting songs musically as well. Now, I have to admit, when I first spun this record, it didn't do much for me. It really didn't do much for me. Probably because I was so used to her past albums, just really cool, catchy R&B, electronic jams. Kind of an 80s sound to it, but real good keyboard player and real good keyboard tracks. So I was kind of expecting the same with this, and it's something quite different. And yeah, so on the first listen, I remember it didn't really grab me much. And I let it sit for about a week or so and came back to it. And on second listen, I really connected to this whole album. And on a third listen to it in its entirety, I'm really loving what I'm hearing. I don't know why I didn't connect with it the first time, but I stuck with it. And the second and third listen, I was sucked right in. This is a great album. It's a cool, chill album, something to listen, and something that you really throw your attention into and just kind of lose yourself in the music. I mean, she's a keyboard player, so she programs all these interesting loops and different keyboard sounds and lead keyboard sounds, and she has a beautiful singing voice. She is one of my favorite artists. I've seen her around the area, the Bay Area and LA area, in concert. I've seen her I think 4 times now, and she puts on a great show. I always have a great time when I see her live, and hopefully she'll tour this record, and I'll get a chance to see her perform these songs. They're really good, really good. The song Anymore, which is the title track, sounds great. Before I Go, is a really cool song. To Feel It is probably my favorite song so far. I love the very last song that closes the album. It's called When There Is No Sun, which I think was originally done by Sunra. But she does a great version of it on this album. Killer record. Great record. And enjoyable listen. Like I said, I don't know why I didn't connect with it on the first listen, but I gave it a chance and came back to it, and I've been hooked ever since. So I'm glad I didn't give up on it. So, because it paid off to just be a little bit patient, relax, let the music take you over, and I made a connection, and this is a very enjoyable album to listen to in its entirety. I love it. Speaking of an 80s band that I do love, there is Simple Minds with Empires and Dance. I recently bought the 12-inch single to the song I Travel a little while back. I've been listening to that 12-inch single and really dig it. So I saw this in the record store. It was pretty inexpensive. And this is the album that the song I Travel is on. In fact, it's the first song on side 1 that opens the album. Really cool track, and this is a very enjoyable album. It kind of has an industrial sound to it in a way. Here's the insert. So, early Simple Minds records are so interesting to listen to. I love them, and this is a really good album. It's very different from Alive and Kicking and Don't You Forget About Me. It's a completely different world from that sound. Not that there's anything wrong with those songs, but early Simple Minds is really fantastic music. And there's the label. I think this is a UK pressing, if I'm not mistaken. Great album. Great album. What's the one song I really like? I think it was 30 Frames a Second is to me is a killer song. I love listening to that song and the song I Travel. Two great songs from this album. Really great stuff from Simple Minds. I gotta see them live. I really have to see them live. On their last major tour, they came to San Francisco, and they actually recorded part of their live record at that show in San Francisco. And I would have bought a ticket, but it was on the same day I already had a ticket to see Phil Collins in Oakland. And I was like, damn, if I wasn't seeing Phil Collins, who of course I love, I would have saw Simple Minds in San Francisco. And I would have been at the show where some of the songs were featured on their new live record. So I was like, ugh. But I had the time of my life seeing Phil Collins that night. But the whole time I was in the stands being blown away by Phil Collins, I kept thinking I could be at the Simple Minds show right now. But I had a great time nonetheless. And this is a great record from their earlier years. All right, another 80s band, Talk Talk. I got their EP. I don't think there's an actual name on this one, so we'll just say Talk Talk. Their EP, mini album, mini price. Remember those stickers? Anyway, there's a picture of the band. I don't see this in shops too often. It has, of course, their song Talk Talk, which is named after the band. That was like one of their early hits. It's on EMI. So there's a label. Really cool early 80s kind of synthy pop songs. Really love this album, this EP. This is a really cool EP. Really dig it. Like Simple Minds, I like their earlier records. Their earlier records and their later records are interesting, but the early ones had so much energy and I don't know. Being being a teenager from the 80s, I really relate to this stuff and make a deep connection to it. I love early 80s synth pop bands from the 80s. I mean, just great stuff. Like it so much, I even bought the 12-inch single for the song Talk Talk by Talk Talk. I've always loved this cover. This is a pretty interesting cover, don't you think? Really dig it. So it has the long version of the song Talk Talk. And on the B-side, we have a song that's only identified as a question mark. And then the song Talk Talk, which was done for the David Jensen show. So maybe that's a radio show, I'm not sure. But really cool 12-inch single. And so glad I picked this up. I only have a few of their albums. I think all in total I got like 6 or 7 LPs of Talk Talk, but great addition to that collection. Alright, now here's an artist whose records I have just gotten into within the last maybe 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, and that's Allan Holdsworth. And every time I find an Allan Holdsworth album that I don't have, I just automatically grab it, no questions asked, even though I have never heard of the record and have no idea what the songs are going to sound like or what I'm getting into. I just see the name Allan Holdsworth, I say, that's it, that's all I need to know, I'm buying it. And that was the story with this album right here. It is called Velvet Darkness, and it is a really good album. Of course, mostly instrumental, jazz fusion rock record, I guess you could say. Just call it music, make it easier. Here's the gatefold. Really cool. Alfonso Johnson plays bass on this record, and I didn't know that until like I've listened to this album 2 or 3 times. I finally decided to like look at the credits, and I was like, oh, Alfonso Johnson, who's one of my favorite bass players, he is on this album and plays bass on it. So a big plus there. Big plus there, and it's a great album. A great album. Alan Holdsworth puts out some fantastic records because he is such an amazing guitarist. I am so late to the party of listening to his music, but better late than never. I am so excited when I could find a new Holdsworth album to put in the collection. I love my Alan Holdsworth records, and to put a new one in there that I've never heard before just gets me all excited. So always on the lookout for his stuff. Oh man, good stuff, good stuff. He is one of my favorites without a doubt. And this album, Velvet Darkness, such a good album. I love when I'm editing my photos before I share them online. I like to throw this on in the background while I'm editing, and it puts me in a nice creative mood. I mean, I love this record. All right, one more 12-inch single. Since I was dealing with 80s bands and music just a little bit ago, this is definitely 80s. It's from U2. It's Pride in the Name of Love. I had this as a 45, and I could have swore I had the 12-inch single, but I bought it anyway. Came home with the YouTube collection. It's like, okay, good. I don't have this as a 12-inch single, so I didn't double buy it. But like I said, I had it as a 45, so it's nice to have now the 12-inch single of one of my favorite 80s songs, and definitely one of my favorite songs from U2. Really great stuff. It also contains the song Boomerang 1, Boomerang 2, 11 O'Clock TikTok, and Touch are also included on this 12-inch single. Yeah, iconic 80s song. Really love it. I loved it since the first time I heard it. Way back in the day. Instantly was hooked by this song and the band and the album. So, which was Unforgettable Fire. So definitely had to buy this and put it in the collection. Glad I didn't have it already. So, U2, Pride in the Name of Love. All right, let's go through some 45s here. Not a lot of them, but a decent stack. This makes me happy because I don't own any 45s from this artist, and he is without a doubt one of my favorite artists currently. And we are talking about Steven Wilson for his song Harmony Kareem. This is a UK pressing. It's on red vinyl. And I'll take it out of the sleeve so you can take a better look at it. I believe this was off his first solo album, and it's one of my favorite of his solo songs. Then again, I have a lot of favorite solo songs from Steven Wilson, as well as a ton of favorite Porcupine Tree songs. But I've never had a 45 of Steven Wilson, so this is so cool to find. And like I said, it's on red vinyl. And there we are. There we are, red vinyl. Steven Wilson. And backed with the song The 78, which is a really cool instrumental. Kind of psychedelic prog fusion type of song. Pretty cool, and it wasn't just a throwaway song on the B-side. It was actually a pretty cool tune back there. So hopefully I can find some more Steven Wilson 45s. Maybe a 45 from his last record. I believe there was one 45. I forgot which song it was for, but he did have a 45 from his last record. But so happy to find this on a 45. Harmony Korine is a great song. It's a great song. I've seen Steven Wilson live as a solo artist a couple of times, and he played that song at each show. It sounded fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, one of my favorite artists to see live. I can't wait for all this COVID bullshit to be over so he can start touring again and I can go to one of his shows. It's been quite a few years. All right, next one up is from Pink Floyd, and is for the song High Hopes, which was from the Division Bell album, Also one of my favorite songs from that album. This 45 was taken from a box set. It just says from the 2014 box set. So I'm assuming the box set for the Division Bell, but I wasn't sure if that came out in 2014 or not. Whatever the case, I have a 45 of the song High Hopes. And it's on clear vinyl. Backed with the song Keep Talking, which is another great song from the Division Bell. And there's the back of it. I had this as a 12-inch single. And it was on blue vinyl. It had some really cool etching on the back of it. It came with some movie cards from the music video High Hopes. It's one of my favorite 12-inch singles in my collection. And now I have the 45 of it, which, like I said, is on clear vinyl. I'll really let you get a good look at the label. It's a really cool label. And if you've ever seen this music video, the music video is shot very well with some amazing images. And the other side, of course, is all the track listing and credits and such. Really cool stuff. Both songs are fantastic on this 45. I'm a big Pink Floyd fan. I love them. My biggest regret is I never got to see them live, the real Pink Floyd. I've seen Brit Floyd live twice, and they're fantastic. So that's about as close as I can get to seeing Pink Floyd live. But, you know, Brit Floyd puts on a great show. So, and they play these songs, both these songs in their show, or at least the last time I saw them they did. And they sounded fantastic too. So, really happy to have this on a 45. One of my favorite songs from that era of Pink Floyd. And of course, one of my favorite bands is Rush. And it's cool to have this 45 from them. It's for their song Closer to the Heart. This was a record store day item. I can't remember if it was the last record store day or the one before it. But I do remember this 45 coming out, and the store. Well, actually, that was the year I decided not to participate in record store day. So I was really stunned to find this in a record store, and I immediately jumped on it. It's a fantastic 45. There we go. That's what it looks like. Really cool. And it's back with the song Madrigal. So very cool 45 from Rush, 70s Rush, which I think people prefer 70s Rush. And it even came with this extender that you can play the 45. You could put it over your spindle and play the 45. So there we go. That's what the extra little gift looks like. Hopefully you can see that. I tried playing it with this in the middle, and it really makes it play funny. It makes it sound like it's dragging, so I put my regular extender on there, and it plays a lot better. So I don't really use this. I just keep it with the record because it was, you know, part of the set. So there we go. I love the version of Closer to the Heart from the Show of Hands album, because the band goes into a really cool jam after they go through the structure of the song. It ends on a really cool jam that they do, and that was always my favorite live version of the song. But the studio version is fantastic. Neil Peart does some tasty drum fills towards the end of the song, really good. All right, let's get moving now. Some of these older 45s, like this one from Marilyn, Garden Party. Another song I had as a 12-inch single, but not as a 45. So me being the big Marilyn nut that I am, I was really happy to see this in a record store and snatched it up immediately. You know you're happy to see something when you don't even bother to see how much it costs. Back with the song Margaret. This is from their first album, their first studio album. And it's on EMI label. So always cool to find their stuff. I always get excited when I find their stuff. And I love the song Garden Party. A real goofy video they filmed for the song, but it's a good song. It's an enjoyable song. I love listening to that song. And all my Marilyn box sets from early years, from the Fish years, they always have great versions of Garden Party on the live portion of the box set. So really cool to get that. Who remembers the band Triumph from the 80s? And this is the first of their 45s I've ever seen. Actually, I don't see their 45s around much. So this is the first time I think I've seen it. It's for the song Somebody's Out There, which is a real typical kind of 80s pop rock song. But I like it. And I always love the band too. They get compared to Rush unfairly, being a three-piece and from Canada, but there's a promo copy, as you can see. Great band. I love the song Someone's Out There, even though it sounds like a cheesy 80s pop rock song. It's a good cheesy 80s pop rock song, and I dig it. And I've always been a big fan of the band, so I love Triumph. So always cool to find anything from them on vinyl. Another favorite band of mine, they were from the 80s as well, is the Smithereens. 45 for Only a Memory. Beautiful song. Beautiful band. Another band I wish I'd seen live. Back when they were going strong. Oh, they're still touring. They still tour. They're still hitting the road, which I'm glad to see. Even their lead singer passed away. It's still good to see him hit the road. This is also a promotional copy from Capitol. So, great song, Only a Memory. I spun this so many times when I first brought it home. I always get real excited when I find a 45 of Smithereens, because you don't really run across them every day. All right, other favorite artist is Joe Jackson, who was also from the 70s and 80s. This song is called You Can't Get What You Want Till You Know What You Want. And one of my favorite songs from him. In fact, there's a good picture of him right there. I've already had this on a 45, but this is a UK pressing, and it has a better cover because the cover's made of like a thicker cardstock, and it's just a better pressing, better quality. The sleeve I had on my used one was just a real thin paper sleeve. This is well made, so definitely wanted to get it because it's just a better quality 45 than the one I had. So really glad to have gotten my hands on it. And it's a great song. I never get tired of this song. It's a really cool song from Joe Jackson. Let's keep it 80s. Or actually, the whole thing is 80s. From the band Midnight Oil, The Dead Heart. A great song from Midnight Oil. Do 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 do. Do, do, do. Oh, I love that song. I have a live a live album of Midnight Oil, and they play a great live version of this song. They sound so good playing this song. It is another band I have a lot of favorite songs of, but especially this one. It's on the Columbia label. That's not too interesting, but wanted to show you anyway. But, if you're not familiar, look it up on YouTube. The Dead Heart from Midnight Oil. Such a great song, and they sound, and the live album I have from them, oh, they sound so good doing it. They sound so good doing it. And here's my complaint about 45s. Once you take it out of the sleeve, why is it such a bitch to put it back in? It gets caught on the side here, and sometimes they're a pain in the ass to put back in. Alright, the last two from the Pretenders. The first one is the song Show Me. I love this lineup of the Pretenders, even though it's not the original lineup, it is my favorite. Don't get me wrong, the original lineup of the Pretenders was fucking awesome, but this particular lineup of them was really good, and I really love Christine Hines' voice on the song Show Me. It's just, she sounds so good on this song. And on the B-side, the song Fast or Slow, on Sire Mute label. There we go. So cool. Yeah, great song from the Pretenders, so really glad to have found this as a 45. And the last one is Brass in Pocket, which is one of their more famous songs. This is a UK pressing. Again, like the Joe Jackson one, I had this already, but Thick cardstock, UK pressing. It is a higher quality 45. So really glad to have scored that. So it will replace my used copy because this one is so much better and better made. So love this 45. Love the song Brass and Pocket. I have a bootleg DVD of her, or of the band, I should say, playing the US Festival back in 1983 when this was a brand new song. And she did a great performance of that song. It's a great performance of that song. I don't think I've ever seen it on YouTube before, but maybe you might find it. US Festival 1983, Pretenders, Brass and Pocket. Chris Hines sings it really well. And that's going to do it. That's my vinyl haul. That's the 45s. That's the LPs. If you stuck this long with me, God bless you. It's not easy, I know. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Leave me some comments, and we'll get a chat going as always. So glad you came by to hang out, and I'll see you at the next one.